Welcome back to Realism Overhaul. Last episode we had left Nero 7 and its crew of 2 in orbit of Earth ready to blast off towards the moon when the timing was right. Unfortunately, poor planning led to the mission's main objective, landing on the moon, to be cancelled. In short, the fuel began to boil off, essentially dissipate into space due to, well, an unknown reason. At least it's unknown to me. My only guess would be radiation from the sun leading to both the liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen to boil off and, well, it ran dry completely. This happened in both the third stage of the rocket as well as the lander itself. I had realized this whilst already en route to the moon, otherwise I would have scrapped the mission entirely while still in low Earth orbit. But because our trajectory was already leading us into a moon flyby, I altered our course to bring the Nero 7 back into Earth's atmosphere after a 10-day spaceflight around the moon and back, at about halfway to the moon. Although the main mission was a failure at that point, it had failed, there was still some testing of the overall mission design that could have been completed, so we went ahead and did that, such as number 1, testing the docking procedure, which is something that we haven't done yet, and it was flawless. Number 2 is collecting science from EVA as well as the biological sample that Nero brought along for the ride. And lastly, and undoubtedly most importantly, returning to Earth safe and sound. Now, to put this lightly, returning to Earth from the moon has never been done before by me. At least not in Realism Overhaul with DeadlyReentry and FerramAerospaceResearch installed. I have never done it. And I was very concerned for the crew's safety. Multiple things could go wrong with re-entry if it wasn't done correctly. For instance, if I dip into the atmosphere too far, I run the risk of sustaining G-forces upwards of 15 Gs, most likely enough to kill the crew, and or the risk of burning up in the atmosphere due to overheating. If I don't dip into the atmosphere enough, then Nero will launch too far back into space and run the risk of running out of supplies before eventually slowing down enough to fall back to Earth. So, this aero brake maneuver had to be perfect. I aimed for roughly 64,000 meters as my initial periapsis in the Earth's atmosphere, and pretty much hoped for the best. What happened was the capsule burned through the atmosphere, significantly slowing down, but not enough to fall back to the surface right away. It left the atmosphere, orbited Earth once more before falling back into the atmosphere again, and this time slowed down to the point where our apoapsis also fell into the atmosphere. So we were returning to the surface for sure that time. Plenty of supplies to spare, maybe 10% of the heat shield remaining, so the mission was a grand success of a failure. Although not fulfilling its intended purpose, Nero 7 has been the first instance where a Kerbal has left Earth's gravitational pull and flew around its moon, and best of all, survived to tell the tale. Now, as 1961 draws near, the race to beat the Americans to the moon continues. And we'll have more on this next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and peace out.